It's game 10. Time's running out for Ding. In game 10, Ding starts with the English. Knight f6, knight c3, e5, knight f3, knight c6, and e4. Another option here was e3, which would follow up with the central break of d4. So here Ding plays e4, now bishop c5, takes, a very nice move, basically exchanging of one pair of pieces, and a move that black plays to try and equalize. Takes and d4. Here you have the option of bishop d6 and keep the bishop on e5, winning the center pawn. Nepo plays bishop b4. All theory, because after takes, Nepo goes for knight takes e4. So white loses the piece back and black is now pressuring c3. Here Ding played queen f3, defending the knight. And after takes, bishop went to c5. This was a surprise for Ding, because normally in this position, the move that people play is bishop a5. And after queen g3, black can even castle, allowing bishop h6. And after g6, if you take, the rook hangs here as well. Also, another line is after queen bishop a5, queen g3, black can even play queen e7. And if queen takes, there's bishop c3. And after the king moves, we can take back here. That's another possibility. So bishop c5 came as a surprise to Ding. Ding spent a lot of time here, and he played queen g3 anyway, attacking the g7 pawn and king f8. If you castle, there is bishop h6, which is why you can't really do that. You will lose an exchange, g6 and bishop takes. So he plays king f8, bishop e2, d6, and bishop f4. Queen e7. So he's putting pressure on the e5 pawn, asking why to take the pawn on d6. Now rook d1. And now comes h5. So Nepo plays a very critical move. He is telling Ding, if you do not do much in the opening or middle game, I'm gonna crash through with my pawns. Not right now g5, but maybe rook g8 and g5. So the king is safe on f8. Here Ding played castles and now h4. Queen went to d3. This is a nice move. He is basically giving the pawn, but you can't take it because of queen d8. Right? Queen takes, rook takes, and after king moves, your bishop g5 and f6, you take the rook. So can't take the pawn, g5. This basically forces white to take the free pawn. Now, what Nepo wants is an endgame where everything is exchanged. It is possible to play bishop e3, but after takes, the lines are pretty critical. After pawn takes, there is queen d8, and the rook is active. So this is another possibility for white, but Ding chooses the endgame, which is sensible. Now he is a clean pawn up, even though it's doubled. He's got some initiative, but a lot of pieces come off. And now Nepo defends the endgame properly. Bishop e6, pawn f4, activating the f1 rook. King e7, rook comes back, and now takes. There is pressure on h4, so white is slightly better in the endgame. Here h3 was played because anyway that's a weakness. And now Ding plays g4, keeping this as a weakness for later. White should be able to pick it up later. So rook c8. But while white picks it up, there is pressure on the double pawns. And that combined with the weakness on a2 will be enough for black to hold. So king f2, rook c5, a4. So the other option is after king g3, for example, rook comes and rook d2. You can defend the pawn this way, but then it's difficult for white to make any progress after that. Everything needs constant defending. So that is why Ding chooses to put the bishop on d1 and defend both. Now b6, king g3, rook h6. This is a very nice move by Nepo. Nepo played this in like 40 seconds. His idea is that the king needs to come here. When the rook comes, for example, and the king moves, there is no rook takes e6 because the rook is defending the bishop, which is why he played rook h6. Now rook e4, and now king moves, rook check, king moves, and rook a8, putting pressure on a7. Now rook c5. So Nepo chooses the right time to exchange. Takes. It's important not to take with the rook because then that endgame could not be that easy for black to draw because you'll never get the c3 pawn, and that can actually be lost for black. It's possible, like if you do this. So which is why Nepo plays bishop takes, because now after rook e7, he just plays rook c6. He is getting the c3 pawn. There's too much pressure. Rook e5 takes, and bishop b3. Another very nice move. Nepo neutralizes everything so well. Takes, rook takes, and rook takes back. Rook moves, rook takes, and everything gets exchanged. The extra pawn wouldn't be of much use. Takes, and rook moves. The black is going to get this pawn because if you defend it, the king is anyway going to come. And that's what happened with b5, king f6, king g3, and takes. And they play on for a few moves. He gives up the pawn to force the draw. And after 10 games, Nepo is still leading by 1 point. There is only 4 games left, and Ding needs to strike